Hello everyone, and welcome to AI Football Prediction Lab, Europe's most trusted football prediction channel. My name is Tyler, and we're here with a fantastic episode. We'll be covering all the key fixtures from the Premier League, La Liga, Serie A, and Bundesliga, all taking place on Sunday, May 11th. Luca and Bill have analysed each one and are ready to share their predictions with you. We post all winning predictions on our Instagram page. Make sure to follow us. The link is in the description. Now let's get started with the Premier League predictions.
Hello everyone, Luca here. I've analysed Sunday's Premier League and Serie A fixtures, and I'm back with my top predictions. Let's not waste any time. We're kicking things off in England. First up, Newcastle versus Chelsea. It's a blockbuster clash in the Premier League as Newcastle take on Chelsea. Two teams still fighting for a Champions League spot. They're level on points heading into this fixture, but Nottingham Forest and Aston Villa are right behind them, so every single point is absolutely crucial. I'm expecting a tight and intense battle. Newcastle will be without Joelinton, while Chelsea are missing Fofana. Newcastle have managed to score at home against nearly every top team this season, and I think they'll do it again. Meanwhile, Chelsea rested several key players midweek, clearly preparing for this crucial trip. They'll be aiming to come away with at least a point. While some European pundits expect a goal fest, I see it differently. This clash is simply too important. Neither side can afford to lose. The pressure will be immense, players may feel heavy-legged, and both teams are likely to stay compact and cautious. Of course, we might see a few goals, but I just don't see this one reaching 5. My prediction, under 4.5 total goals. I wouldn't be surprised if we see fewer than 4. Next up, Manchester United versus West Ham. Manchester United recently booked their place in the UEFA Europa League final after a 4-1 win over Athletic Bilbao. Spirits are high, but even so, their recent league form has been far below expectations, and their current position in the table is simply unacceptable for a club of this caliber. They're just 2 spots above the relegation zone, which is shocking for a team with United's history and resources. Yes, they've reached a European final, but I believe they'll approach this Premier League fixture with focus and intent. We might see some rotation, but the ambition to win will still be there. As for West Ham, it's hard to predict how they'll respond. They've had a dreadful season and are winless in their last 8 matches, which makes this clash tricky to call. Still, I expect Manchester United to push for the win, and at the very least to get on the score sheet. My prediction, Manchester United over 0.5 goals. In another key Premier League fixture, Nottingham Forest host Leicester City. Last weekend, Leicester finally gave their fans something to smile about, picking up a rare win over Southampton. They've already been relegated, but it's clear they want to say goodbye on a high note. Jamie Vardy's goal made that victory even more meaningful. On the other hand, this is a huge match for Nottingham Forest. They're currently in 6th place, and since Newcastle, 4th, and Chelsea, 5th, are playing each other this weekend, it's a golden opportunity for Forest to break into the top 5. They'll go all out for the 3 points. Facing a relegated opponent at home, they know this is a moment they can't waste. And yes, I do think Forest can win this one, but I also don't see them going wild in attack. Even if they take the lead, I doubt they'll chase more and more goals. Once ahead, they'll likely shift into game management mode and avoid unnecessary risks. My prediction, Nottingham Forest under 3.5 team goals. Next up, Tottenham versus Crystal Palace. Tottenham secured their place in the UEFA Europa League final after beating Bodo Glimt in Thursday's semi-final. They'll now face Manchester United in the final 2 weeks from now. Despite that European success, Tottenham's position in the Premier League remains disappointing and frankly unacceptable. That's exactly why I think they'll take this match very seriously. While Postecoglou might rotate a few players to manage fatigue, I believe whoever steps on the pitch will give it their all. Crystal Palace, meanwhile, are a tough opponent. They've been solid lately, avoiding defeat in several recent fixtures and putting in strong performances across the board. It won't be an easy clash for Spurs, and while I'm not sure they'll take all 3 points, I do believe they'll find the net at least once at home. My prediction, Tottenham over 0.5 team goals. Sunday's biggest Premier League clash sees champions Liverpool host a struggling Arsenal side. Arsenal haven't won in their last 4 matches and were recently knocked out of the Champions League semi-finals after losing both legs to PSG. Their full focus is now on the league. They'll want to secure second place, but right now they look tired and low on morale. Still, they have no choice but to respond. Liverpool, on the other hand, suffered a loss to Chelsea last weekend. A classic case of celebrating the title a bit too early. This time, they'll want to bounce back and finish strong in front of their fans. I definitely expect them to score, and if that happens, Arsenal will have to push forward, which means they'll either score themselves or leave space at the back and concede again. Instead of going with both teams to score, I'm taking over 1.5 total goals, which feels like the safer and smarter option for this matchup. My prediction, over 1.5 total goals. Now it's time for Italy, the Serie A. We've got 4 matches today, and we're starting with Udinese versus Monza. It's a game between two sides who basically have nothing left to play for. Udinese finally snapped their 7-game winless streak with a 2-1 victory at Cagliari. Monza, meanwhile, look like they're already in vacation mode, totally out of the race and lacking urgency. Sure, most people expect Udinese to win, and maybe they will, but in matches like this, when the stakes are low, teams can easily lose focus. That's why, instead of backing a home win, I'm going with a different angle. My prediction, over 0.5 goals in the first half. It feels safer, and still offers decent value. The second match of the day sees Hellas Verona host Lecce in a crucial relegation battle. Verona only need a draw to secure safety, so the pressure isn't too intense on their side. For Lecce, however, the situation is far more serious. They're just 1 point above the drop zone, and every single point could make the difference. I believe Lecce will approach this match with full focus and determination. I don't expect them to concede heavily, maybe 1 goal at most. I'd be surprised if they conceded 2, and 3 feels very unlikely. So, to play it safe, my prediction, Hellas Verona total team goals, under 2.5. Next up, Torino versus Inter, Champions League finalists. Inter hit the road to face Torino, tired, drained, but still buzzing with joy after reaching the final. Sure, Torino don't have much to play for at this stage of the season, but in high-profile games like this, players tend to step it up. They know all eyes will be on them. It's a chance to shine. I said it last week, and I'll say it again. Right now, it feels like the Champions League is more important to Inter than the league title. And to be fair, even if they win here, it won't mean much unless Napoli slip up. Inter will definitely push for the win, no doubt. But the big question is, do they have the energy and concentration to actually pull it off? So instead of backing them to win outright, I'm going for the safer option. My prediction, Inter double chance. The final match of the day is Napoli versus Genoa. Napoli are marching towards the Serie A title. They're 3 points ahead of Inter and led by a hugely experienced manager. Sure, their squad might not be as flashy as Milan, Inter, or even Juve, but discipline and team chemistry have brought them this far. As for Genoa, they have nothing to play for, but for the players, it's still a chance to shine. They know millions will be watching, and they'll want to leave an impression. If this match had been played 10 weeks ago, Napoli would have probably won it comfortably. Now, though, the pressure is on, and every step gets heavier. Still, I believe they'll find a way. It won't be easy, but my prediction, Napoli to win.
Hi everyone, my name is Bill. Big thanks to Luca for his great analysis of the Premier League and Serie A. Now it's my turn. I'll be covering the Spanish League and the Bundesliga. Let's kick things off with La Liga. Sunday's La Liga action kicks off with a crucial relegation battle as Leganés host Espanyol. Espanyol are just a couple of points away from securing safety, while Leganés are in a much tougher spot, 4 points below the survival line. They've lost only once in their last 5 matches, and that defeat came against Barcelona. Aside from that, they've drawn 4 times, so while they're proving hard to beat, they're still struggling to get the wins they desperately need. This match is absolutely vital for them. With the home crowd behind them, they'll be pushing for a long overdue victory, but even a draw would keep their hopes alive heading into the final 3 games. I do think Leganés can win here, but to stay on the safe side, my prediction is Leganés double chance. The second La Liga match of the day is none other than El Clásico, perhaps the biggest fixture in world football, as Barcelona take on Real Madrid. This could be the game that practically decides the title. If Barcelona win, they'll be 99% champions. Not mathematically, but realistically. However, if Real Madrid manage to win, the title race will be blown wide open with just 3 games left. Barcelona are coming off a grueling midweek clash against Inter in the Champions League. They played brilliantly, but were knocked out after a heartbreaking 4-3 loss in extra time. The players are mentally and physically drained, and that defeat definitely took an emotional toll. That said, their performance was outstanding and earned a lot of praise. As for Real Madrid, despite sitting second in the table and still being in the title race, it's been a disappointing season by their standards, and heading into this clash, they're facing a defensive crisis. With key players like Rudiger, Camavinga, Mendy, Militão, Carvajal, and Alaba all unavailable. Given their recent form, I believe Barcelona have the edge here. They've won the last 4 meetings between these two sides, and the football they've played this season has been impressive. However, it's worth noting that Barcelona's own backline isn't perfect, and I don't see Real Madrid leaving the stadium without scoring, so my prediction for this massive showdown is both teams to score. The third match of the day sees Athletic Bilbao hosting Alavés at San Mamés. Alavés are just 1 spot above the relegation zone and can feel the pressure mounting. And now, they face a tough away trip against a Bilbao side eager to bounce back. Athletic have been struggling lately, especially after their Europa League semi-final exit against Manchester United. But this is the kind of match where they'll be expected to respond in front of their home fans. They also need to protect their 4th place position in the league. With Villarreal closing the gap, any more slip-ups could see them drop out of the Champions League spots. That's why I expect Bilbao to take this game seriously and push for all 3 points. Still, even if they fall short of a win, I don't see them losing here. My prediction, Athletic Bilbao to win or draw. The final La Liga match on Sunday features Real Betis at home against Osasuna. Betis are full of confidence after knocking out Fiorentina away from home to reach the Conference League final, where they'll face Chelsea. Spirits are high, but it's worth noting they played 120 demanding minutes midweek, which could take a toll physically. Osasuna, meanwhile, have been one of the league's well-structured sides. They still have a chance to qualify for European competitions and will be motivated to get a result here. While Betis are the favorites, even with the fatigue, I don't expect them to dominate against such a disciplined opponent. That's why my prediction is Real Betis under 2.5 goals. Now we move on to the Bundesliga, where we've got 3 exciting fixtures lined up. First up, a heavyweight clash. Bayer Leverkusen host Borussia Dortmund. Leverkusen have already secured 2nd place and can no longer catch the champions, so there's nothing on the line for them in terms of standings, but they'll still want to finish strong, especially in front of their fans. For Borussia Dortmund, this is a massive game. The top 5 teams in the Bundesliga qualify for the Champions League, and Dortmund are currently 5th, but Leipzig and Mainz are right behind them. They simply can't afford to slip up. This is a very difficult away trip. Leverkusen will be playing with freedom, while Dortmund are under pressure to get a result. If Leverkusen score, Dortmund will be forced to push forward aggressively, and that's where my prediction comes in. Dortmund are a team that loves to use the wings and build wide attacks. In a game like this, with high stakes and potential chasing, I expect them to rack up corner kicks. My prediction, Borussia Dortmund over 3.5 corners. The second match of the day sees Eintracht Frankfurt hosting St. Pauli. Frankfurt have all but secured 3rd place. It would take a miracle for them to move up or down at this point. As for St. Pauli, just a single point would guarantee their safety in the league. Even if they don't get it, they could still survive, depending on other results. But obviously, they'll want to take matters into their own hands. That's why I expect them to approach this game with a very cautious mindset, especially early on. They know what's at stake and will likely prioritize defensive stability in the opening minutes. So my prediction for this match is no goal in the first 10 minutes. The final Bundesliga match of the evening features Stuttgart at home against Augsburg. Both teams are sitting comfortably mid-table, 10th and 11th respectively, with no real threat of relegation and no shot at European qualification through the league. This is essentially a low-stakes game, and while Stuttgart are listed as heavy favorites, I think Augsburg won't go down without a fight. I don't expect them to lose by a big margin. A narrow defeat, maybe by 1 or 2 goals, is possible, but I can't see them getting blown out. That's why my prediction is Augsburg +3 handicap. That wraps up my predictions for La Liga and the Bundesliga. Thanks for tuning in. Up next, it's time for the top prediction of the day. Don't miss it. See you there.
Hello again, everybody, and thank you for watching the video all the way to the end. It's now time for the top prediction of the day. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with your football-loving friends. And now, here it is, today's top prediction.